What is the nature of the attention? The attention is something that can be moved around, taken from one place to another for varying periods of time before moving on to something else. It either does its own thing or it can be brought under a certain degree of control. So the attention is something which moves around. But it doesn't need to move around, it can be fixed onto something. Through certain concentration exercises, it's possible to extend this, and then we can examine the nature of the attention as pure awareness. And this awareness is uncoloured. The attention is one thing. It's not lots of different things. It can identify with lots of different things, it can attend to lots of different things. But the nature of the attention is uniform. It's of the nature of awareness, of consciousness. So we could say there's two aspects of the attention. There's the attention as it is, and there's the attention as process, when it's moving around from one thing to the other. The attention as process is a limited aspect of its nature. When you realize the nature of the attention and properly appreciate it, then there are no words to describe it. So this is how consciousness works, and this consciousness is not different from Brahman, the Absolute. So when we understand consciousness as process, consciousness in a limited aspect, then this is creation, this is existence, this is dissolution, this is the process of consciousness. Consciousness creates notions, it sustains these notions in the belief that these notions are actually an external reality, and eventually we realize their notional nature. This is dissolution, which is liberation. So this is being described as the subtle body, the Ativahika body. It's this Ativahika body which is the reality of the self. It's that body which is involved with the process of consciousness. It's that body which gives rise to notions of creation, notions of an individual self and of a world out there. That's creation. Vasistha continued. The cosmic subtle Ativahika body that arose as the creator Brahma by sheer coincidence, just as a ripe coconut falls when a crow alights on it, continues to exist on account of the inherent nature of consciousness. It itself is the universe. The seer, the seen, and the act of seeing are all unreal. Or if they are all considered real, even then they are all Brahman, and Brahman alone is real. So this is how the creator Brahma arises. And it says by sheer coincidence, just as the ripe coconut falls when a crow alights on the branch. The crow alights on a branch of the tree, and this coincides with the falling of the coconut. And what are the elements that are coinciding here? Well, there's awareness, and notions arising within awareness. That's all. There's stuff going on, and there's awareness of stuff going on. And this gives rise to notions of self and creation. The cosmic subtle body arises of its own accord, and that itself became a solid substance by being constantly thought of as such, even as dream may appear to be real when it is prolonged. Thus even materiality or substantiality arises of its own accord from the subtle Ativahika body. I am this, I am that. Thus the notions that arise in that body appear as mountains and the various directions. The I am this and the I am that is the attention. It's the attention which identifies with objects and says these objects are real. But all this is mere delusion, appearance or optical illusion. When the Ativahika body is thought of as material or physical substance by the Creator Brahma, such materiality arises. It's apparent materiality that arises. Brahma is the creative aspect of our consciousness. It's that which gives rise to notions and identification with these notions. And these notions, because of the power of consciousness, are taken as real, are taken as solid and substantial. Consciousness considers itself as Brahma the Creator. It considers this is body, and this is support for the body, and thus creates a relationship between the body and the support, which thereafter becomes a bondage. When there is the notion of reality in unreal phenomena, there is bondage. When many such notions arise, then diversity is brought into being, and bondage deepens. That person then utters sounds, makes gestures, and indicates whatever he wishes to convey. He sings the mantras of the Veda after uttering Om. So we're getting a particular prescription here, and the assumption here is the birth of an upper caste Hindu, a Brahman. But I think we'll extend it to everybody, so we'll put that little bit in parenthesis about singing the mantras of the Veda and uttering Om. Basically, we are born into a particular cultural context, and we behave in response to that. Soon he engages himself in diverse activities with the help of all these. He is of the nature of the mind, and whatever he thinks, that he experiences. A feedback loop gets set up. So if you think the world's an awful place, well, that's your experience. If you think you've had a hard life, you've been hard done by, well, that's your experience. If you think you're lucky to be alive and the world is full of joy, well, that's your experience. It cannot be difficult for one to see his own nature, and that which has arisen in him on account of his own nature. However, when he thus perceived the notion of the world within himself, soon it became a solid reality, and overshadows appreciation of our own nature. Though his physical and material universe is but a long dream or magic product, it shines as if it is true in the subtle body, or Brahma, the Creator. It's what we believe. We believe it's reality. This is it. How can you contradict this physical reality? Hence it is clear that the physical or material universe does not exist at any time, anywhere. The subtle body itself appears to be the solid body on account of the notion of such solidity arising in it repeatedly. Its very source is unreal. We really need to investigate this and keep investigating it and realize its dreamlike nature. The sole reality in all this is Brahman. There is naught here but Brahman. It's just consciousness doing its thing. So continually realize this, dwell in it, appreciate it, and allow your own sense of being to open up and to flourish once again.